We're going to continue following this lovely meeting. I'm a little behind today because my cleaners were here and they kind of throw everything off. But I was told
back to
that
where we were.
They fixed it. Let's see if it's true.
That hopefully that won't happen, but it's just good for us all to be aware of the plan.
And I represent Clackamas County.
Oh yeah. See,
Good morning, everyone.
We didn't see any of this. This was all.
Good morning. This is my 4th year with TSCC.
We heard them, but we didn't hear the TRIMET people.
Field trip with a bunch of third graders.
Yeah, you're a bunch of field trips.
I'm Laverne Lewis, and I represent.
See, we did not get to hear all of this, but they fixed it to their credit. TRIMET, good for you. They did fix it. It's okay. You got to give them some credit, don't you? Why is this unlisted, by the way, TRIMET? Put it up there, TRIMET.
District 6, and I love Max, and I ride Max.
Oh, wait, we did hear that. I remember that, yes. Okay.
Scheduled to begin September 2023 under the topic of transit equity, inclusion, and community affairs. Since TRIMET expanded our honored citizen fair in 2018.
Equity and inclusion. Meanwhile, there's people dead on the street, and these idiots keep talking about equity and inclusion. Do you guys even know there's dying people on the street when you? I mean, do they know they're just lying through their teeth? Are they deluded? Because we've always wondered, like, does Biden, for example, actually have any concept of what he's doing, or is he just lying to us? Well, it's the same thing here. There's no equity and inclusion, man. Just take a look out your window. You're in downtown there. Does it look like there's equity? Hell no. So when they use this in their stupid meetings and in the public, their public propaganda, it's just lies.
Nearly 50,000 Oregonians have signed up to ride for significantly.
We saw that.
Nearing the end of the time. Do we have anybody signed up?
Okay, let's see.
We did not receive any signups for public comment. Did the district receive any signups for this
nobody.
hearing this morning?
Nobody knows it's happening.
No public comment this morning.
Okay.
All right.
Great. We'll dive into our questions. I have the first one.
Okay, let's see if it works.
We know that rider fares don't pay the bills, but the ridership is a key public perception about how the transit system is doing. We also know that
Well, yeah. Isn't that the purpose of the transit system, is to take people around? I know we have this kleptocracy now where the purpose of government is completely nothing but crime. But I mean, the transit system was created to take people around.
return to office is still slow. What is your best thinking on ridership recovery? Will ridership return? And what incentives and persuasive techniques are working for TRIMET to encourage more riders?
Thank you. And I think Sam's going
So
to...
Chair, I'll start off here with that. And then I think Nancy and I, we're going to tag team this question and talk back and forth with each other. But
Let's see.
I'm really excited to inform all of you that ridership has been steadily more frequent.
Reductions in service, although I know that now kind of service is being added back. Thank you for the detail given us on the first answer. And as ridership changes, we're just wondering kind of what all the factors are and what alternatives were considered before deciding to propose a fare increase.
Yeah, as we look at the fare increase, it's important to understand both our revenues.
They lied to me. Somebody commented on my video that they fixed it. Well, they lied. Okay, liar! Don't lie to me. Don't do it. Don't say shit if you don't. What are you trying to fuck me up? Okay, so we'll just pick it up.
Key driver
This is where we left off. So I'll show you in my video. You can look. Doesn't matter. Somebody commented on my video that they put up a new copy of this, but it's not there.
Increasing ridership back to, where we were pre-pandemic. And I know that, or we know collectively as the TSCC that you've been making some code changes to make that happen, to make the system more safe, more secure. This budget makes investments for safety and security. We've seen that. And so our question is, what difference should transit riders that I should see when I get on the 17, employees and the general community expect from these investments?
Yeah,
I'm
thanks
going to start off with you,
Well,
Andrew.
what do you think? They're going to say, well, we're going to be safe and effective, and everybody's safe, and it's going to be lovely.
All right, we'll come back over. All right, thanks for that question. We appreciate questions about safety and security. Appreciate
Yeah,
your
we
ridership.
appreciate it.
Thank you for your service on this board.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. We all love you. We love each other. It's a loving over here. One group of fucking tax-funded citizens and another group representing the oligarchs. These are the elites representing the oligarchs. I don't know if they get paid or not. I know they don't, but they get the status position. Meanwhile, Ozzy's on his phone. You ever notice how Ozzy's always doing something else during these meetings? Which I can't blame him for, I guess. But it'd be nice, Ozzy, if you actually paid attention.
Our region, like the country, continues to face challenges of hiring law enforcement, as you're aware. In response to this, TRIMET continues to increase our unarmed security presence. For riders, they're seeing more of a security presence while they ride our buses and trains. And we're not just...
It seems to be true. I'm seeing more tweets about it. So I don't think he's making it up. It does seem to be more of a presence than in the past.
Working with increasing our unarmed personnel, but also increasing the tools our security personnel have to address code violations and reduce security-related incidents. TRIMET is pursuing additional technological security
The code violations, let's not.
advances for surveillance to make our transit system safer. This includes better monitoring of our access control, real-time security reporting tools for riders, and other enhanced crime prevention through environmental design or CEPTED concepts and principles.
Environmental design is nonsense. Sorry.
We know our riders want more of a security presence on our transit system, and we're delivering on that by having more personnel actively patrolling our system, while working to install technology that can help us monitor any crime on our system or help prevent it from happening in the first place. Any questions related to that?
Yeah, thank you, whatever your name is. Yeah, that's brilliant. That's just, obviously.
Happy to answer.
Actually, just clarifying,
Yep.
could you expound on the CEPTED principles or the...
Yeah, no, absolutely. So crime prevention through environmental design is a principled thing across construction efforts and across the country. But in our particular community, we built in the 1980s, and so we are now in some of these lines, our main line, blue line, etc. We're now trying to put forward new ways to access the system through access control. We've really developed our surveillance capabilities, as I presented to our TRIMET board. Over this last year, we have now over 8,500 cameras on the system. We have active monitoring. We're moving towards 24-hour active monitoring of surveillance. We assist law enforcement with the completion of investigations. And we work with the DAs in the 3 counties that we work with to sort of solve those crimes via surveillance. But I'll say
Employees and the general community expect from these investments.
Interrupted.
yeah,
I'm
thanks
going to start off with you, Andrew. And
All right, we'll come back over. All right, thanks for that question. We appreciate questions about safety and security. Appreciate your ridership. Thank you for your service on this board. Our region, like the country, continues to face challenges of hiring law enforcement, as you're aware. In response to this, TRIMET continues to increase our unarmed security presence. For riders, they're seeing more of a security presence while they ride our buses and trains. And we're not just working with increasing our unarmed personnel, but also increasing the tool. All those types of things, are part of that process.
Asking you, so my experience with access control, I just had one this morning when I tried to get in this building. I don't have the swipe card, right, to get in. And in my world, previously, you had to have one to get in to anything. So that was access control for me.
Yeah.
What do you mean by access control?
It's a good question.
Clarify
Yes.
that.
So we're piloting some things. In fact, we have a pilot going in June related to elevators, right? So our elevators are in very difficult shape at times, which is hardest on the most vulnerable ADA passengers that we serve. And I say that because our elevators are often, have behavior inside of them that make them very uninviting. I'll just say that. And I think you can imagine if you've lived in Portland and you've seen elevators, that sort of thing. So one of the things we're piloting right now is using your hop card, even without any money on it, to be able to grant access into that elevator. You can't get in without the hop card, an active hop card.
That's not a bad idea. I like that. Why not? That's easy to do. Why aren't you doing it? I mean, you can do that right now. What's the holdup?
Not necessarily using finances or money loaded on that, but just an active hop card. Now, you think about that's elevators, but where can we take that at the system? Could we do that with garages, park and rides, et cetera? So these are the kinds of concepts we're exploring and piloting. And I do think we're looking at a future where we can provide safer outcomes for.
Yeah, once you see how the bureaucrats speak, they just talk without saying much of anything. So although he did give one example of something that may happen in June, I'll believe it when I see it.
For folks.
Thank you.
Let's see if it actually happens. You know, they tell you they're going to do these things and then they never happen.
As a follow-up to that last comment, I transit through Hollywood to connect to the MAX. And I understand what you say about elevators.
Yeah.
Well, to further connect the safety discussion, let's go back to hiring and hiring incentives. When we were here last year, you talked about a new incentive program, a signing bonus for your drivers. I think we've seen the head caps on the buses still advertising those, and in fact, I think at a somewhat higher rate than what we were talking about last year. So you have implemented a number of things to entice and expand your driver force. Mr. Deschutes talked about operator shortage again this morning. And we also have heard and read about retention of current staff because of safety issues related to the drivers. So how are things going currently? How are you?
They're finally getting their barriers in. Let's see how he answers it. We got a mailing that they're starting to do. They're 5 months late, which I guess isn't all that bad considering TRIMET. They said they were going to be in by the end of last year, and now they're starting to install them starting in May. So they're 5 months late. In terms of TRIMET time, that's actually pretty reasonable. Usually it takes years ahead.
You spoke about safety directed to ridership. Let's talk about directed to your employees and the retention of your employees. So could we start there?
This is a very complex subject, by the way, because of the different ways that different employees handle the public. And there's absolutely zero discussion about this anywhere from transit professionals or transit journalists or people specialized. You hear all the time about police brutality. Well, let me tell you something. There's also bus driver brutality. It's not as obvious, it's not as cruel as police brutality, but it exists. It's an actual thing. And so that's part of the reasons why there's so many assaults on operators. Now, nobody's talked about this. I'm the only person that does. And then there's a lot of factors that go into that too, which I wanted to write a thesis about if I had still been in college. Of course, I don't have the discipline to do it now, but this is a complicated subject.
Good morning, Kim Sewell, Executive Director for Labor Relations and Human Resources. So I'll take the first part of that and then turn it over to Andrew for the safety and security measures. With respect to retention, our attrition rate for this year is trending lower than it was last year. But attrition has been a few percentage points higher the last few years than it was prior to the pandemic. However, we've had great success with our bus operator hiring, tremendous success. And it's been so successful that in May it'll allow us to start expanding our service. But we do see some safety and security challenges that may be impacting attrition, and so we are going to take some measures to try to address that and bring attrition rates back in line with pre-pandemic. And I will turn to my colleague Andrew to address some of those.
Yeah. No, thanks, Kim. I have some prepared comments, and then I'll, ask for questions. How about that? So our operators are a vital part of our operation, and we take their safety very seriously. And I got to commend our GM for that. Safety is the first priority at this agency. It's our high.
Just keep saying it over and over. We'll believe you at some point, right?
As priority, and I think that cascades down well throughout the organization, and it makes all these outcomes very difficult for us when we have a safety outcome that does not go the way we need it to. So there have been a few incidents that have garnered media attention, and we've worked with our law enforcement partners and the offices of district attorneys across the 3 counties we operate in to ensure these matters are prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But a few high-profile cases in the media, like many aspects of modern life, do not provide an accurate depiction of the reality our operatives are facing. Overall, we've made steady gains. This is important to just recognize. We've made steady gains in increasing the presence on our system and facilities with additional unarmed contract security officers, customer safety supervisors, and safety response team members. In 2022, we saw a reduction in calls for police service, as well as incidents targeting employees such as assaults, harassment, and yelling at operators. So we actually have seen some momentum and some gains there, and we expect to continue those. And
I don't believe that. Let me tell you how they do these statistics, by the way. Unless the police are called to the scene, they don't count that as an actual incident. Now, we hear all the time incidents constantly happening, but nobody wants police, so it doesn't get counted in their database.
Tracked with increases in presence on the system. So
I think the objective number of calls is a really important measure, but I remember that when we were here last year, I think one of the things that was key was the employee survey and kind of the employees' continued perception of their safety. And has that moved since we last spoke a year ago?
There, buddy.
We haven't issued a new broad general survey. We will be doing that, so we hope that
we have not done that. Okay.
We will get some data that helps us look at those issues.
That's a terrible answer. You failed.
All right, so let's talk about how your staffing is going generally. Kim mentioned that your attrition rates are better, but that presumes that they still are. So how many driver vacancies do you have now? And
yes, she's asking for a precise answer. Let's see if she gets it.
Your budget includes an addition of 95-ish FTE, presumably not all drivers, but a mix of employees. And how confident are you that if those positions are authorized in the budget, you'll be able to fill them?
Thank you for the question. As I previously mentioned, we had tremendous success with our bus operator hiring.
We want actual numbers. She's very good at never giving you actual facts.
So much so that our current bus operator staffing is meeting our current service hour needs.
Which is?
And that's evident by a significant reduction in missed trips and improved reliability. We will continue to focus on those efforts.
Notice how she's not giving the answer. I mean, she asked you for how many vacancies do you have? What's the answer?
It's because in addition to the attrition we see from separation, retirement, promotions, the bus operator rank also feeds our rail operator positions.
So?
I will share that as of our April 17th data, we are down 9 rail operators based on our current service.
All right, there's an actual, thank you. That's so hard.
Our needs in max. So we are going to continue to focus on the bus operator hiring efforts. And because they have been so successful, those efforts include the hiring bonus.
Why don't you tell us how many people have been hired over the last 3 months? And how many people stayed to do the job past 3 months after they were off training? Okay, give us some facts here.
That you discussed. A new onboarding program that we've developed.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, man. They have a whole brainwashing for a week there. I saw about this. You know, back when we started, it was like get in the bus and start driving right the first day. Okay, now they have this whole week of what they call onboarding, what I call brainwash.
And efforts internally to support the operator experience and those attrition and retention rates that we talked about. And based on the local changing employment market, we do have a high level of confidence that we'll be able to continue with those hiring efforts to meet those service needs.
That's not really an answer. She did it again.
I have the next question. We're switching gears quite a bit into capital improvement projects.
All right, let me stop it there. Let's just do these one subject at a time. That's long enough. See you next one.